Hello, everyone. This is Alexander Horat again. I just wanted to say, if you like what I'm doing on my videos and the stuff I'm doing on my website, if you'd like to support the show, you could donate to me through PayPal at alexhorat@gmail.com, or you can also donate with Give, Send, Go. And any amount will be really appreciated if you could do that, because I want to be able to do this, full time, and I really enjoy making these videos. And and if you could help me, that'll be really appreciated. So I'll show you how to spell my email, and here's Give, Send, Go. So I really like this. This is my Give, Send, Go account. And here is my email, alexhorat@gmail.com. So you can just send money through PayPal. You can send like recurring payments if you wanted to donate like every month, like say $5 or something. That would be cool. Or you can just send a one-time donation. And here's my website, the Free American Press. So if you just like what I'm doing with my YouTube channel and want to show support, if you can donate. And I would just like to thank everyone who was able to do that. And if you can't, I completely understand. And if you could just subscribe to the channel, that would be really great too. So I'd just like to thank you all for your support. Have a good day. Goodbye. Hello, everyone. This is Alexander Horat, your host of the Free American Press. Today, we're going to be having the Economic Ninja on the show to talk about the California economy. But before we get into it, if you could please subscribe to the show and leave a like on the video, that would be really appreciated. Hello, how are you doing today?
I'm good, man. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. So one thing is that we're both from California, so I wanted to ask you, what are some big problems facing the California economy?
Well, I don't know if we have that much time, Alexander. There's a lot of problems. Honestly, you can sum it up into one thing, and that is overstepping. The government is reaching into everybody's pocketbooks, and the really big one is reaching into business pocketbooks by putting limitations on them to where they can't do business like they always have, and they always do this in a certain way, like using the environment and things like that. And it's literally crushing businesses in California.
So how do you think we can fix, California's economy?
Tell the government that they need to stop changing things, stop adding more and more regulations on our businesses. We've seen it just recently with the virus, where California would go over and above, trying to limit the amount of business any business can do. I have a friend that just lost his family's restaurant of, I want to say it's 50 years, because they would, force them outside in Napa in the blazing heat during summer. And then when they tried to move back in, they would try and kick them back out. They would threaten to take away their liquor license, their beer and wine license, which would completely kill the business. And he finally had to shut the doors because of so much regulations, when there are other states that were just doing some, business as usual, or they were trying to work with these businesses the best way possible during this situation.
Yeah, I really feel bad for a lot of the restaurant owners and stuff like that, because, they closed down those businesses, but they kept big corporations like Walmart open. So it was kind of crazy, I think. So I want to share my screen with you to show you this really quick, and I want to see what you think of this. So if you can see it now, this is talking about the bullet train to nowhere, and California is spending, $77 billion on this, while many of its people are starving and homeless. So why do you think the California government is spending so much money on a project like this, and what are they up to?
Well, really, technically it does go somewhere. That track is a good, a mile long. So if you want a really fast mile-long ride, I guess you could jump on one side and get to the other. But you really have to dig down who owns the companies that have the contracts for that. And that's really where it is. It's always follow the money. We always have to follow the money. And the fact is that the wealth disparity, the gap in California is much larger than most states. And the reason why is because certain governments would like it that way, because if you keep people feeling just rich enough, even though they're completely poor, they don't rise up. and technically they will do whatever you say because they don't want to bite the hand that feeds them.
Okay, so basically this is just, another government project for certain people to be making money.
Yeah, there were some headlines a couple of years back, if you dig through them, about the high-speed rail of whose companies actually got those bids, and you can trace them down because they're related to people in the government. So it's a very sad state of affairs. It is one of the stupidest ideas, not only myself, but many, many people in this state. That's the sad thing is a lot of people, give the state a bad rap, which it deserves it. But in the way that they think everyone thinks that way. And I'm going to tell you right now, as far as I'm concerned, where I live, and I'm sure where you live, over half the people do not think that these are good ideas. They do not think that California is a strong state with good policies. They're actually completely frustrated. And the sad thing is that the people that do make really, let's say, not the brightest decisions are the ones that are, some of them are the ones that are leaving California right now, and taking those crazy politics with them.
Yeah, it almost seems sometimes like the voting's rigged and stuff because, yeah, when you just talk to everyday people, they seem to be against these big spending projects because it's not benefiting them at all. And I think you raised a really good point. I was actually watching this show called Danger Men. I don't know if you ever heard about it, but it was a old British television show. And basically, he's a spy trying to, find out, what bad people are doing and stopping them. And in one episode, there was this guy from, I think, Uzbekistan, and he was trying to get these loans, but the loans were supposed to help the peasants, right? But instead it went to fund, himself so he could be, rich in his own country. So it's really it's too bad how that's happening. So a really big question I have for you is how do you think we can clean up politics in California? How do you think we can get rid of this corruption? What are some steps you would take?
Well, that's a great question because I'm actually doing it right now. I truly believe that there is no way that we can enact great change in this state or in this country without making people be not only self-sufficient, but wealthy themselves. You see, when you keep the masses poor, they will do whatever you want. They're technically debt slaves, and that's what we have in this country, not only California, but in this country. And so a lot of people are living on assistance, and we're seeing so much assistance that is driving people to actually leave their jobs. And a lot of people actually believe that this is going to go on forever, and that's a sad thing. So what I am doing is teaching people how to invest their money, what the difference is between fiat currency, fake money, and real money, which I call God's money, precious metals, then the money of the people being cryptocurrency like Bitcoin, a solid decentralized blockchain, not the same as a lot of other projects that are out there. And so what I want to do is teach people not only to survive, but thrive. And in this next coming market collapse, I want people to be able to take advantage of the situation when assets are going for pennies on the dollar. I want to see people buy them up, become blessed, in wealth, but then also take that power, that wealth, and put it to good use to actually build this country back again.
Yeah, I think that's a really good idea because education definitely comes first. If the people don't know what's happening to them, we're basically sheep to the slaughter. They can do whatever they want if we don't have knowledge. So I think that's a really good thing that you're doing because if we can give the people knowledge of how to actually protect themselves, I think that's a really good benefit. So one thing we were talking a little bit off camera was about logging in California. And it seems like California has a lot of really untapped natural resources. Like there's still a lot of gold in the state. It's called the Golden State. And there's quite a bit of gold left here in California. And there's a lot of logging. There's a lot of trees in California. Actually, a large part of the state has actually been burning down because there's so many trees. So why do you think this is happening? Why do you think the government is not allowing people to tap into these resources?
Well, again, it's really sad. You got to follow the money because for every forest that you're not allowed to grow on, somewhere there is a person that owns a timber operation in another region that is able to just strip down an entire hillside. And even though I believe that's actually a good thing, I've been actually studying, let's say, forestry management and how fires affect it for quite some time, for about the last 25 years. It's sad because you just have to follow the money. And so I grew up in the gold country like yourself. And I remember growing up when I was a lot younger than you, truck after truck, logging the Sierra Nevadas. And that has fallen to the wayside because of environmental groups and protection groups that actually go and get donations. And then they literally allowed to not spend all the donations. They can spend it on themselves, going out and raising a ruckus to try and get people to stop growing, cutting things down and doing proper forestry management. And this what leads to massive, massive fires in our state and throughout the country because of, quite frankly, piss poor management.
Yeah, I have to agree because we didn't used to have this problem only a few years ago. It's just gotten worse and worse as the years have gone by. So you talk a lot about, education and educating the people. So what's the next step you think of making California, a better place to live, have a better economy once we get a large amount of the people educated? What would be some of the next steps you would think?
Really, it comes down to preparedness because you can't get away from market cycles because, quite frankly, every time there's a bubble and then a burst, there's only a few people that are prepared for it. Okay, that will never change throughout history. You can never get everyone on board with truth and how reality works. All right, a lot of people, because of emotions, want to hide, stick their head in the sand, and hide from reality. Where a few people take advantage of situations, try and help, like you and I are doing, try and promote the truth, but they just don't want to hear it. They just don't care. So what's the best thing to do is to go ahead and be prepared and take advantage of it. So that's the next step. Everyone that's educated and understands, oh, there's something going on. This is not just a little fluke. As a matter of fact, this very similar situation happened back in 1918. It's a very interesting thing with a flu if you Google it, and it led to a great collapse in the market. And that collapse wasn't the Great Depression, it was the Depression of 1920. So I tell people to prepare, and that's the biggest thing, and that's having some extra food, having a way of, some water storage. Let's put it this way, be in a position for 90 days, where if you don't have to go to the store because it's closed down, or you don't want to go into town because it's getting nutty, like Chicago, New York, many other cities, even San Francisco has started to see some very serious issues, then you don't have to go. And you've got enough money to whereas, people are freaking out because the cost of food is skyrocketing. You could go over there and say, you know what? I wouldn't mind that truck. I'll buy that truck. They'll sell it to you. I saw this in 2008 where people were selling off all their toys, and I gladly went up and bought them all up and resold them to people that, wanted to pay more for it.
Yeah, that's a really good idea to resell, items and make more money on it. That's really good. So one thing I think is really important to ask you is, we see there is a lot of natural disasters that man can't stop, but do you think economic disasters are planned ones?
Yeah, so there's a couple different ones. So economic disasters can be completely natural, right? A total fluke because of usually a environmental, let's say, catastrophe, things like that, right? Or we could also have economic collapses if there was a wartime, or where you had a huge die-off of the population, where a disease came through and you wouldn't have enough workers to sustain the economy. You could have those kind of things. However, there are things that are man-made, and there are a lot of people that don't understand the facts that there are people that make more money in bad times than in good times. And that is a fact. It's happened throughout of history. Because when everyone is panicking and you have some money but nobody else does, you now have all the power and authority. So you can essentially write your own ticket. And so, yes, I do believe there are times where things are built up and propped up. I don't necessarily think there's one guy sitting on a button that says crash the economy right now. But it does show there throughout history. You can see where big businessmen have actually done things in a way to where you knew they knew what they were doing, and they carried out plans to be able to take over full industries, or let's say full states or countries, and that has been proven throughout history with men of great power doing things to, or starting a monopoly to cause panic and incite a panic and then take advantage of it.
Exactly. We've seen that time and time again in history. So who do you think will benefit in a economic, collapse, the collapse of California? Will it be the Chinese who are buying up California? What group do you think will benefit from it?
If we're talking governments, China is going to be a force to be reckoned with, because they are not only the largest uh, producer of precious metals, I believe, right now, but they're also the largest importer of precious metals. They have set up laws to where their mines essentially, not, it might have changed, but a while back they were saying things like, hey, you're not allowed to ship out of this country, but don't worry, we'll pay you the going rate. And they're going to be in an amazing position, because we're talking about a currency collapse here. If you see, and they have so much natural resources, they're buying up our resources, hand over fist. I remember years ago, they picked up a couple of ports in our country too. So they have a lot of cash flow, a lot of resources. If you talk about human beings, who's going to take advantage, it's literally the preppers. But with that being said, there's a lot of people that prepare for the future just to get by. I don't teach that. I teach preparedness to go out and take advantage of the situation. And there's a lot of people, quite frankly, that are butthurt about that. And they go, oh my goodness, I can't believe you take advantage of someone that's losing their house. I'm like, yeah, trust me, after 20 years of warning people, or 15 years of warning people, they don't want to listen to you. So if they lost their house because they bought a house that they couldn't afford and they didn't have enough savings set aside, but yet at the same time they're driving around a brand new BMW that's not paid for, I don't have any remorse for them. I'm going to try and help them like we're doing right now. And it'll be on record, obviously, because it's out there in the universe. But the facts are, when the bank takes a house, I will gladly go to the bank and negotiate for that house. And then if they want to rent it back, we can rent it back to them. But guess what? Here's the great thing with debt. And I say that sarcastically. They'll be right back in the exact same position 10 years from now. That's it.
Yeah. So, as kind of a final question for you is, what do you think of the, since you already hit on it a little bit about the housing and, houses like that. What do you think of the housing crisis in California?
Well, it's not a crisis really, because a lot of people think it is a crisis because there's a shortage of homes. But the fact of the matter is, we have not seen a baby boom that would all of a sudden, in the last 2 years, create this massive demand for homes, because there's all of a sudden a bunch of 22-year-olds that are getting married and want to buy a home. That's just not the case. The facts are, there's massive speculation by large corporations that are buying up homes, and they don't care what they pay for them, because they know what's coming, and they're going completely from liquid assets to into solid assets like rentals, and they're going to turn literally almost everybody into a renter. So there's not a housing crisis in that fact. And actually, this goes back to the whole preparedness thing. There's never a crisis for someone that was prepared, saw it ahead of time, and did something about it, right? These are a lot of people that are owning a home right now. And yeah, it's like, I'll give you an example. I bought a house in October. It's up $200,000 since October. Is that real money? It's absolutely not, until the day I decide to sell my house. Well, I have to stay in a house. I have to live somewhere. Yeah. So I'm not going to sell my house, right? There's a rental crisis, but it's because a bunch of large companies have bought up all the homes, and they're saying, you're going to pay this much. And the sad thing is, it's not a conspiracy. You just need to understand how to read title and how these companies are purchasing these homes.
Yeah. So what do you think of the, there seems to be a lot of, different people moving into California, like whether it's people from Asia or Mexico. How do you think California is going to change?
I think it needs a good depression. I think we need a full reset. I think somebody needs to slap the lawmakers around a little bit, and say, no more money for you, and let them actually deal with the tax situation and go, oh, whoa, wait a minute. What do you mean I don't get government, federal funding? And I think that's a sad state of affairs, that I don't think that's ever going to happen unless we go through a full-blown depression. But I want to remind people too, people that want bad things on California, I believe, is the 6th largest economy on earth. If something was to happen to it, heaven forbid, let's say a large earthquake that took out San Francisco or LA, the economy worldwide would go through something that it's never seen before. And the reason why, and I honestly believe this is a likely possibility, because when we just saw in 2008 Lehman Brothers go down, and it was the triggering event. There was a lot of other stuff going on, but it was the triggering event for a worldwide great recession. If the 6th largest economy is stopped, we're going to see something that you've never experienced before. So as much as I know that California needs to go through a big life lesson, I'm also scared for that event, because that means the entire world's going to be affected. So.
Yeah, I agree because California is basically, half of the whole United States economy or almost. So I wanted to share my screen to show everyone your YouTube channel. Could you tell the viewers a little bit about it?
Yeah, so I started this YouTube channel, oh man, just a year ago, I believe it was, and I didn't really do anything with it until September. And it's grown organically. There's no fake subscribers on here. I think we're about to hit 80,000. I've got like 900 people left. My goal is 100,000 subscribers before that end of September date when I decided to really ramp this up because everyone needs goals. But yeah, I've got a great community. As a matter of fact, I don't know if Andy's told you, I know you've had Andy Scheckman on your show, but he's meeting me down in Dallas, and we're actually going to be doing a conference, the Economic Ninja Summit, Dallas 2021 at the end of August. So things are happening pretty fast with the channel.
Yeah, he told me about it. Could you tell the viewers a little bit about that?
Yeah, I was really blessed. Miles Franklin, Andy's company, is the sponsor of the event. We are doing it. I have not disclosed where it is yet. We're literally in the middle of signing contracts. It's probably the fastest conference in the shortest amount of time that someone's put together. And we've got a capacity for 600 people, and we've got some amazing speakers. I know Andy's going to be there. Bill Holter, might have David Morgan. We've got hopefully Jared Tate, the founder of Digibyte. We got a lot of people already lined up, so it's going to be a really fun event. So it's going to be really neat.
Well, that's great. So, where can the viewers find that event so they can sign up for it?
Man, you got to ask me a question I remember. So we are literally throwing this together so fast. If people will send an email to, actually, you know what? If they just go to the Economic Ninja channel on YouTube and click the bell icon, and sometime next week we're going to launch the actual web page, and we've got like 4 different big YouTube channels that are going to be broadcasting it everywhere. So I don't think you're going to go anywhere without being able to see it in a few days.
Oh, well, that's pretty awesome. So, I'd like to thank you for being on the show again today.
Yeah, it's absolutely my pleasure. I love watching you crush it, man. You're gonna crush it, and let's see if we can get people to share this video and get it out all over the world and get you some more subscribers and really get you in a position where you get to keep doing what you're doing, but you're able to warn way more people.
Well, thank you. Yeah, we definitely need to save California and the whole United States, and this is the way to do it. So I'd like to thank all the viewers who are watching this video. Please share the video with your friends and leave a like. And God bless everyone.
Right on. God bless you guys. Thank you.